Good afternoon mga ka-HR. Isang magandang hapon po sa lahat. Talaga naman ang boses ng inyong lingkod ay napakaganda this afternoon. Pero hindi po yun ang importante, but the important is the learning today. Dahil ngayong hapon po ay hindi lang po knowledge ang pwede nating makuha this afternoon, because this afternoon makakatulong din tayo sa ating beneficiary na magpapa-opera para sa kanyang puso. Dahil ang HR ay laging makapuso. Paano ba yung puso? Hindi ako marunong. Jolina, tulungan mo ako. Hindi ako marunong magpuso. Siyempre, we are helping one of our beneficiary. Alam niyo naman, ang puso ng HR Calabarzon, hindi lang para makapagbigay ng HR knowledge, but to help others. And para hindi na patagalin ang ating pag-aantay, I will share my screen. Ayan. Okay, general reminders during the HRE Knowledge Webinar. As we know, lagi naman po, naka-open tayo ng mas maaga. We are requesting everyone to please. Nakikita ba yung screen ko? Hindi. Pero hindi. Ulitin ko lang ulit. Sorry. Hindi natin share. Yan. Sobrang excited ko this afternoon, di ba? Kaya hindi ko na-share yung screen ko. Anyway, ulitin ko lang po ulit. Ang general reminders natin during the HRE Knowledge Webinar. Our Zoom meeting room is open na actually 1 o'clock ang aga ng ating speaker for this afternoon. 1:15 naka-live na siya. And syempre, and requesting everyone to please, kung kaya ng ating internet, video on, audio mute, para naman po dire-diretso ang ating conversation. Lahat po ng katanungan, please place it in the chat box or sa ating Facebook Live comment para po mabasa namin ng ating mga kasamahan dito sa HRE Knowledge. We are requesting your full attention and cooperation. Siyempre, lalo na ngayon, HR 360 ang ating topic from end to end, from the start to end, ang ating pag-uusapan. Kaya sabi na nga ng ating speaker this afternoon, medyo kabado ko. Dahil talaga namang end to end yung ating topic this afternoon. The webinar is free, kaya po tayo ay naka-Facebook Live. And if you would like to request for e-certificate, our fee is 50 pesos per webinar per attendee. Take note, half of the minimal fee will be donated to our HR Calabarzon beneficiary for her heart operation. Ano nga ba ang HR Calabarzon? Ang dami nagtatanong sa akin, ano ba yung HR Calabarzon na yan? Ano bang ginagawa ng HR Calabarzon? HR Calabarzon provides virtual. Sa ngayon po, virtual pa. Pero we are planning face-to-face learning to all HR practitioners and enthusiasts in Calabarzon, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon. And, of course, lagi natin sinasabi yan, hindi lang taga Calabarzon ang nagmamahal sa HR Calabarzon, because we have from the North and South Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, meron na rin tayo sa Vietnam, sa Thailand, sa Singapore, and Japan. Kaso parang namimiss ko ng ating avid fan from Japan. And para naman po sa mga gustong kumuha ng e-certificate, we provide e-certificate for a minimal fee of 50 pesos per webinar per attendee. Half of the minimal fee will be donated to our HR Calabarzon beneficiary for the heart surgery. E-certificate will be sent 7 working days. Ulitin po namin, 7 working days. So nilagay ko na po yung date. E-certificate will be sent to you on July 5, 2022. After the workshop today, hindi po included ang Saturday, Sunday, and holiday. After validating your minimal fee per webinar per attendee. Please ensure that the Google form is completely and accurately filled up with your complete name, first name, middle initial, and last name only. And of course, sana po, kumpleto at tama ang ating email address para hindi siya nagba-bounce back. Reference number and proof of payment must be attached in the Google form. Kasi kung mali po yung in-attach nyo, hindi po kayo makakatanggap ng e-certificate. Ang links po ay available through comment section of FB Live and Zoom chat. We are accepting payment for e-certificate until Thursday. And the form is open until, payment is until Wednesday, form is open until Thursday. So bakit nga ba tayo kumukuha o nagre-request ng payment of minimal fee of 50 pesos? The minimal fee po ay ginagamit natin sa ating expenses para sa ating monthly subscription for the Zoom postpaid account para po magamit natin sa mga susunod na linggo ng ating free HRE knowledge. Ano po ang ating GCash number? Ang ating GCash number, please do screenshot 0919-009-6339. And syempre tawagan ko ang aking kasamang sobrang ano niya ngayon, sobrang ganda niya ngayon, Ma'am Zorina. Could you please help me introduce our sponsor this afternoon?
Ayan, it's my honor, Ma'am Nedy. Ngayon, meron tayo sponsor and siya po ang ating sponsor for the entire year. So we would like to thank Certified Practitioner in Human Resources for sponsoring HR Calabarzon. They have an online learning and certification program. Limited live training lang ito on July 15 to July 16. Ngayon, limited slots lang to. And of course, next slide, Ma'am Neds. Ayan. Yan. So ang ating mga group members na from HR Calabarzon ay makakakuha ng industry partner discount of 10% pag nag-a-attend ng CPHR OLC Assembly.
And ano po ba ang benefits, Ma'am Zorina, kapag umattend ng CPHR?
Okay, so syempre marami tayong benefits. Bukod sa marami tayong matututunan, marami din tayong makikilalang magagaling sa industriya. Parte pa siya ng continuous education natin sa ating CPHR. Ngayon, pag ikaw ay isang CPHR, mako-contribute siya sa learning hours mo.
Yes, at syempre, kagaya po ng ilan sa lahat nating mga kasama sa HR, si Ma'am Zorina po at ang inyong lingkod ay licensed certified practitioner in human resources since last year. And of course, Ma'am Zorina, let's call our sponsor for this afternoon, Sir John. Hi, Sir John.
Hi! Ay, nakamute po, sir.
Ayan, hi. Hi, good afternoon. Ayan, so can you hear me na po?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud.
Ayan, so good afternoon. Ayan, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dion Flores. I'm the CEO of Wellness Health and Total Rewards Insurance Consultants. So just to give you an idea po on our services, so our company designs employee benefit programs. So yung employee benefit programs refer to HMO, medical insurance, group life insurance, personal accident, executive checkup, retirement plans, clinic management, burial services, and non-life insurances. So recently, yung mga na-add po dun sa mga tinatawag nating employee benefits program, nandiyan na rin po yung mental health package, second layer programs, flexible benefit programs, and others. So what we do is we help our clients design these programs and manage the cost. So syempre, we understand naman po na first talaga na priority natin when it comes to designing dun sa ating mga employee benefit programs is yung cost implication. So our company, hindi lang po kami basta nagde-design, we help you manage din yung cost na yan na gagawin natin. So basically, our company is a hybrid setup of a brokerage and a direct team ng provider. So you get the knowledge of a brokerage or yung expertise ng isang broker, and then you are still dealing directly with the provider. So here are some of our partners. For HMOs, yung mga top providers po, partners natin lahat yan. MaxiCare, IntelliCare, Medicard, PhilCare, Coco Life, and others. Next slide po, ma'am. For life insurance naman, sila AXA, FWD, Etika, Pioneer, Sun Life, Chubb, PhilLife. Next slide po, ma'am. Non-life naman, ito yung mga coverage naman, ma'am, na walang buhay, yung mga travel insurance, nagsisimula na uli yung mga travel ngayon. Meron din tayong mga fire, property, car insurance, ganyan po. And yung meron na tayong corporate na burial coverage under St. Peter plans. dental coverage, and others. So for clinic management naman, ma'am, if your company has their own clinic or wants to set up clinic inside their company. So meron po tayong partnership kay Healthway, kay Active One, which is under Unilab, home healthcare, and of course, yung mga providers natin na malalaki, they have their own clinic management. Si Medicard, si Aventus of Intellicare, and si MaxiCare through their partner naman yung My Health Clinics. So if ever you may need or you are interested to get quotations or you want a review of your program, feel free to contact us lang po. Yung numbers naman kay Miss Neddy, pwede niyo pong screenshot dito sa pinopost niya ngayon and we'll very happy to assist you. So no commitment naman po siya. If you just want to have a check, kamusta ba yung employee benefit programs natin, then feel free to reach out. So thank you so much, ma'am. I'll give the floor back to Miss Neddy and her team po. Ayan, so
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Dion. So, if everyone na interested po kayo, screenshot niyo lang po yung details ni Sir Dion at i-assist din po kayo.
Yan. Sorry na mga ka-HR, talaga namang nalilate ako. And this afternoon, Ma'am Jorina, excited ako kasi talagang, alam mo ba, maraming, itong topic natin this afternoon, ay talaga namang hinanda at pinaghandaan ng ating speaker for today. Kasi merong nag-imbita sa inyong lingkod at sa ating speaker this afternoon na magkaroon kami ng isang webinar na strictly for mga students para malaman nila ano nga ba ang cycle ng isang HR. Ano nga ba yung talagang ginagawa ng HR sa totoong buhay. So this afternoon, Ma'am Jorina, para mas maintindihan nila, siguro pakilala na natin ang ating speaker. Ano sa palagay mo, ma'am?
Yeah, syempre, excited na tayo introduce ang ating speaker and of course, part din siya ng ating board of directors ng HR Calabarzon. So, Miss Janet Memoracion is a VP for HR and Admin at Bricks Power Incorporated. She has over 20 years of experience in human resources. She is also a certified Six Sigma Yellow Belt, a certified learning and development professional, and a certified human resource executive. She has managed several startup companies within different industries and is a staunch believer of people. Established her great interest in developing the workforce and programs that aim to provide growth opportunities both for the people and the company. You may follow her on LinkedIn at Janet Memoracion. You can just go ahead and search her to follow her. Now introducing our speaker for today, Miss Janet Memoracion.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a while since my last session with HR Calabarzon. Things has been pretty hectic in the past week, so I hope I'd be able to catch up with every one of you. I can see a lot of people who have been with us for several months already. I think most of them from the time that HR Calabarzon started doing this help or assistance or support to our fellow HR professionals. So actually my first business this afternoon before I proceed with the discussion or with the deliberation of the HR 360 would be to request each and every one of you for a few moments for us to honor the memory and the great contribution of our previous HR Calabarzon Board of Director, Ms. Rose Joya, who recently passed away due to cancer. So can we please ask a few moments from everyone to please bow down our heads and say individual prayers to honor Ms. Rose. Heavenly Father, we ask that Rose guide Rose as she journey towards your kingdom. Please grant peace to her soul and peace and acceptance to her family. This we pray through Christ our Lord. Amen. Okay, so I think I have to go ahead and start with our discussion. Ma'am, meron na po ba
Yes,
akong sharing,
Ma'am
right?
Janet, sa tingin mo this afternoon, ano po ba ang take-away ng ating mga ka-HR, especially yung ating mga HR student na participant this
Okay.
afternoon, syempre?
Thank you for asking, Miss Neddy. Kasi, you know, when we talk about the HR 360, it's the entirety of our HR profession. Ano? It's a little complicated and simple at the same time. No? Medyo very broad kasi yung coverage niya. And there are also a lot of misconceptions around. So this afternoon, we would like to simplify our presentation by allowing people an opportunity to actually like journey with us towards the end-to-end or the full spectrum of human resource profession by actually like looking at the perspective of the employee or their perspective as employee. So kasi medyo complicated nga siya, no? So sisimplehan lang natin. I just actually prepared few slides lang, and I would wanted this discussion to actually be something like a kwentuhan session lang for us to be able to understand saan ang gagaling yung perspective natin sa isang human resource personnel and tayo din bilang human resource professional. How do we actually see from the perspective of the employees? So that's where we would wanted to focus, Miss Neddy.
Wow, nakaka-excite naman to. Ma'am Dorina, kayang-kaya na ba? Mukhang mahahasa at matatanong tayo ng matatanong ngayong afternoon na to. Kaya ang ating mga ka-HR dyan sa FB Live, be ready with your question. At sa ating mga kasamahan sa Zoom, please PM your question. So ma'am, we are giving you the floor.
Okay, ma'am. Wait lang. Parang hindi ako nakaka-share ng aking screen. Naka-host po ako, ma'am.
Yes ma'am, naka-co-host ka naman.
Yan. In the meanwhile, Ma'am Neddy, pwede nating i-display muna yung QR code kanina din. Kasi masandali lang siya eh, kanina. Yung QR code sa ating attendance. Mamaya.
Okay, all right. So, sige. I'll go ahead, Miss Jorina. All right, sige. HR 360. I'd like to start popularizing HR 360 from the word itself. No, it's an entire cycle. No? The 360 end-to-end cycle. Or we would like to actually be able to appreciate the full cycle of HR profession. But of course, as usual in our trainings, no, I would also wanted to understand who are our participants this afternoon. Or profiles, how do you see yourself? Are you tayo survey? Little survey lang tayo using your using our chat group, a chat box po in Zoom meeting. Kindly please react. Okay sign or like sign if you are HR now, and heart sign if you are HR soon, or you want to be HR, or you want to transition from your current role to HR role. May I see? Kindly send in our chat. Gemma is HR now. Paula is HR now. Mylene may be one of the students or who may want to transition to HR role. Jorina, Christopher, Lorinda, Sharon, those are all HR now at the moment, okay? So marami tayong HR practitioner. Mas madali tayong magkakaunawaan or magkakaintindihan. Okay? All right, so few are actually students, no participants. Actually, most of you are actually regulars po ng HR Calabarzon. So thank you for that. For those who answered po like icon, could you please share in the chat box your current role and your tenure? Current role and tenure. Please share to us. ER. Okay. Employee relations. Sabi nila sa office namin, pag nakikita ang HR na tumayo sa upuan at may dalang red folder, ER yon. So natatakot sila sa red folder. HR secretary for 3 years. Thank you, Ms. Charmaine. HR supervisor, Ms. Stella, could actually help us a lot later, no? Maybe Ms. Stella can input. Okay, I'm gonna take that down. Ms. Rose, HR manager for 3 years. Hi, ma'am. Your input later will be valuable for everyone. We will be having short discussion. HR supervisor. Hi, Miss Angeline. Lorenz could actually help us more in the inputs, no? But just to manage everyone's expectation, again, we have designed this for mostly for the newbies so that we'll be able to actually see the entire HR profession. Okay, thank you very much for your answers. Napakarami nating nasa leadership role na this afternoon. Let's move forward. Sige, since a lot of you actually already understand HR work or HR profession, kindly please go ahead to minty.com. If you have data ngayon, please kindly log into www.minty.com and use the code that you are seeing at your screen, 79242391. Okay, nakuha na po. I'll stop my screen share and I'll go ahead and go to my Minty account. I'll open my Minty account. If nakuha na po ninyo yung inyong code, again, code is go to www.minty.com and use the code 79242394. I'm gonna share my screen again para makuha po natin ulit yung mga answer ng bawat isa. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Ayan. So may mga sumasagot na, no? For those who are still trying to find Minty, go to www.minty.com and input the code 79242391. The code is 79242391. One word that best explain your understanding of HR. Mediator, human, support, empathy, people, care. Very nice. Strategic partner, benefits, recruitment. Yeah. Okay, so nice, so colorful. I think I would wanted to capture that later on para ma-share natin. So other people can also review this later on. Development, engagement, partners, manpower, employee relations, very nice. Very colorful. This is how we are actually seen by our employees. No? This is who we are. Explain your understanding of human resource. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop from that and stop the screen share so that we can go back to our PowerPoint presentation and share to everyone. No? How do you actually see human resources from the perspective of our employees? I'll be sharing lang here in my screen. Sorry, medyo solo tayo. Wala tayong technical. So, okay. That one. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. So, these are the answers that we got from earlier. According to most of you, your understanding of HR revolves around the idea that HR in itself is a representation of being a mediator, a support group, care for people, human. And we put this together with human development, relation, manpower, strategic partner. This and a lot more of adjectives would define us in the eyes of our employees. Pero gusto natin i-level off pa, no? Let's go back to that Mintimeter again. Let's go back to that Mintimeter again and answer the second question po. Let's answer the second question. Let's go back. Meron po akong question dito. Please do answer the second question. Ina-narrow down natin yung experience na yan ng mga employees natin by actually trying to understand, no? In your own experience, what do you think? Or describe one word or in one word that best explain human resource department. One word that best describe your human resource department based on your experience, or for the newbie, for the students, sa nai-imagine mo, ano yung human resource department? Wow, very nice. Problem solver. Kaya everyday marami tayong problema, iba-iba ang sinusolve natin. Okay? Sige, let's take it from that. take it from that, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this. I'll be capturing this para po makuha natin siya later on. Mabalikan natin siya later on. Babalikan natin siya kung tama ba yung understanding ng bawat isa. No? Okay. Thank you very much po for joining. Thank you very much for sharing your inputs about those two questions. Now, why do we ask? Why did we ask those questions? This perspective of employees and your own perspective are actually important for us to see how we should be as HR department or as HR practitioner. Understanding HR profession and the full spectrum of human resource, or what I'd like to call again as HR 360, is defined by employee experience. Nasabi nyo yan, nasabi nyo na ganun ang human resource department ninyo kasi yun ang naranasan ninyo. And because of that, because of this, the employee experience is actually an indicator of how your employee feel, of how your employee sees HR department, because that's how you make them feel. While we are saying po that feeling are all valid, legit, acceptable, no wrong feelings, sabi nila, nagiging mali lang yung feelings, ang pakiramdam, kapag may ginagawa ka na about your feelings. But in an absolute perspective, feelings are all real and are all accepting or acceptable. Because the employee experience, what you answered earlier, no? I-capture lang ulit natin. Yan yung mga answer ninyo kanina on human resource department. Family relations, empowering engagement, diverse, dynamic, empowering, itong mga to, these are actually an indicator of the real feeling, barometer ng real emotions ng mga tao natin because of what they experience with us and the way how we are handling them. Therefore, overall, what we're saying is when we talk about HR, the end-to-end, the full spectrum of HR, we are dealing about human development emanating from the human experience or employee experience. In other words, if you wanted to understand actually human resource function, the real human resource function, we have to look at and measure the experiences of your employees coming from their perspective. However, in a lot of times, people have different perspective of HR. Naranasan nyo na ba yun? Marami silang sinasabi about HR. Ito, memes na to, kumbaga old na sa atin. But there are a lot of misconceptions about human resources. My mom thinks, I'm just doing this. I'm just interviewing people. And whenever, ganon yung common misconception ng mga oldest, ng mga traditional perspectives sa human resources. My friend thinks I only do social media. My friend thinks I'm only having fun. My husband thinks because we do a lot of party, all at the same time, no, almost every month meron tayo. I'm just going on a party. Society thinks tayo yung mga judge, tayo yung mga lawyer ng organization. But I thought, from between and amongst all of this perspective, marami pa rin yung misconception. And in fact, even ourselves, oftentimes our job functions are misconceived by a lot of people, by others, and sometimes by ourselves. We are lost in the middle of a lot of things to do within the organization, within the human resource function, causing distress. And kapag nandun tayo sa point na yon, we are lost also in terms of the implementations of the appropriate projects or appropriate program issues. More often, we are stuck in the middle of the piles of documents, being not really strategic, but we are resolving one issue at a time. Parang nagiging not really complacent, but nagiging reactive tayo instead of being active. We are being passive, waiting for things to happen, then making things happen. Overall, the human resources are actually called for to drive change within the organization manage change. Kaya nga nasa shoulder natin yung change management, and be able to make people appreciate that these change are all gearing towards the new phase of development within the organization. Nasubukan yung a lot of human resource professionals during pandemic. These are most of us, no, lalo na sa generation natin ngayon, bago yung experience na merong pandemic that is limiting our movement. And those processes that we know for long time, hindi na siya naging effective or efficient during pandemic time. Take for example, the very common example of that is the attendance monitoring. How do you monitor attendance of your employees pre-pandemic? Mostly, time in, time out. Diba? Nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, naging very difficult for all of us to actually see how people are actually monitored in terms of their performance. Before, when we do evaluation, we do it face-to-face. When pandemic happens, we were put in a situation wherein we have to do a workaround, think outside the box, develop something new processes in which you could actually monitor performance by the output or by the results and not by the hours. Pre-pandemic, even after the introduction of Telecommuting Act, maraming mga business owners yung hindi accepting sa idea ng telecommuting. They would say, how could I monitor my people if they are not sitting beside me? How could I monitor if they are able to deliver? My God, we are able to survive 2 years sa human resources from a distance. No? We are, and effectively, people are so able to deliver. This is a forced revolution wherein we are all forced to actually change the perspective of people as to how they see HR. Kahit ngayon, sometimes people would still see us like this, fragments and fraction of all of these things. Sometimes they would say, create an event for us. They go and run to HR. First, they thought, we feel, in a way, at some point in our career, we are like corporate nannies, taking good care of our kids within the organization. But we are a whole bunch of things. For us, for human resource professional, we have to take a look at the reason of our existence as human resources by actually understanding from the perspective of our people. Allow me to borrow this paradigm from Elizabeth Burke. Here, she believes that the behavior of our people in the social workplace are defined by their experience. People, how they speak about you or about the organization is a reflection of the level of engagement. And when we talk about, sabi natin kanina, the full spectrum of human resources can actually be measured by employee experience. Meaning, ang ibig palang sabihin, ang meaning ng buhay natin as human resource can actually be defined by the entire experience of your employee. An employee experience basically talks about engagement. Kanina may mga sumagot, ER, EE, employee engagement. Naku-consider natin yung bawat facets ng HR in per function. For example, in some organizations, pag sinabing HR recruitment ka lang, sometimes nga, separate pa yung recruitment from HR itself. Sometimes nagiging part ng marketing ang recruitment. Why? Realistically speaking, the recruitment process is an opportunity for us to sell the organization. We are not buying the candidate. No? Hindi natin pinipilit yung candidate na ibenta nila yung sarili nila sa atin para sila yung i-hire natin. In fact, we have to invert the paradigm, no? To change that perspective by thinking that we are trying to sell our company to the employee or to the candidate. This recruitment is actually the onset of the employee experience. If you want to create good experience from your employees, start by doing it right. And by doing it right, women, when you do recruitment, you are actually more than hiring. Recruitment again, is an opportunity to sell the organization, to market the organization, to make employee feel that you are welcoming them to the organization. That's why sa recruitment, nagsisimula, nire-revolutionize na rin po natin yung strategies. Siguro on some other time, pwede tayong mag-create ng panibagong talk about each of these facets ng HR. But now, yung recruitment strategy are more on behavioral already. Sabi nila, I forgot the movie title. It's a movie about HR and business owner. Yung seasoned HR practitioner and new, very young na business owner, nag-hire siya ng seasoned HR practitioner as intern. I think intern yung title ng movie na yon. Yung recruitment process nila, pinagmalaki ng recruiter. Oh, we offer new processes in everything, but then the questions are all the same. Tell me about yourself. How do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? But the candidate is like what, 60, 70 years old? How do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Probably dead. So when we would like to introduce something new, we have to use new tools, new strategies. And in recruitment, that's your opportunity to create that idea to your employees. And when you wanted to measure employee experience, recruitment, interview is the best position to start. So here, oftentimes, when your employee feels like they like the job, they like the company, they like the organization, and the colleagues, ano yung indicator? Okay, the indicator is they tend to refer your organization. When your referral program is effective in spite absence ng referral fee, that is an indicator na effective ka na human resource, na effective ang entire human resource program mo. And we need to start looking at this perspective instead of like measuring it by the numbers. It's not the numbers that we're trying to measure anymore. We are past that. Pandemic showed us that there is another way to manage performance by not focusing on the people, but by the emotion of the people, but by the experience of the people. So that's how we would want to go. No? Next, ano pa nga ba yung ibang ginagawa ng HR? Pagkatapos ng recruitment, what do you do? Imagine your life in the company pag-join mo. Day 1 is orientation. Normally, yung buong month mo is the nesting period. Tinatawag tong iba-iba. Onboarding, nesting, but overall, this is an opportunity for you to prepare your employee to transition to the role that you have entrusted him. Again, please take note, we are using a very different terminologies. Now. Entrusted. The employee, you are entrusting the employee to the role. Because when you hire employee, our perspective should be, we should change from thinking na yung hinire ko na employee, magagamit ko, matuturuan ko, magagamit ko para ma-deliver yung functions. No. You hire employee because you think they can add value to your organization. And you don't tell it should be done based on their experience or expertise, except otherwise, if this is a newbie, we're in, pag newbie or new hire or entry level, that's where your development phase comes in. You have to train them. Again, let's focus on the onboarding. Do employees feel welcome po on day 1 pa lang? Are they engaged? Onboarding is a great opportunity to engage new hire. Oftentimes, HR to be able to maximize this opportunity when a new hire is at the stage of wanting to do more and creating impact. Pag bago ka, no, lagi ang nasa isip mo, I have to do this kasi ang target ng employee is ma-regular siya. Maximize. Again, we don't use exploit. We use maximize. Maximize that opportunity when an employee is still at the stage of wanting to create impact immediately. Help them, allow them chance to be able to see immediately from the onboarding, what is the organizational structure? Who would they go to? Who would they run to if in case they need help? If they have brilliant ideas, who would they discuss these ideas to? That should be able to answer yung kagustuhan ng employee to actually deliver impact the soonest possible time. And in fact, on the onboarding, apart from, of course, physically walking them through the office, organization, the nearest establishment. If they are tired already, saan sila, where can they respite, where can they rest? Now the entire work setup change. Although marami na yung hybrid, lumilipat na into um, on-site and work from home, marami na rin na inaccept na yung work from home as part of the perks. So nagiging different na yung way of onboarding natin. Nagiging different na yung way, mostly instead of walking them through the office, you walk them through your platform, your system, your apps that are being used, monitoring people or developing people, training people. Now let's go forward. Once you onboard the employee, trabaho ng HR to onboard them. And sa onboarding, again, very essential, very important na ready lahat ng mga information from structure to the materials and tools that they can use, to the process as to how they can actually transition to that particular role. The next opportunity for HR to create good impact on employee experience is the development phase. In the development phase or the training and development, we should be able to provide employee who, number one, exhibits interest. Magkaiba kasi yun eh. May mga employee na very vocal and would really come forward and tell you and would request, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. But there are employees, HR should be able to spot the second type of employee who won't come forward, employee who won't tell you what they need. HR should be able to spot when the employee needs help, when the employee is already drowning and needs your support. The HR's role in training and development is not only to identify public trainings that you should be giving to the employees or to create in-house training modules. The effectiveness of training and development team is for them to be able to identify people that needs help and people that can help. In a way, the organization, actually, we are in a mutual needs. No? People in the organization, especially those you amongst you, marami tayong human resource manager na nandito na ngayon. Marami tayong human resource supervisor. What do you do to be able, do you sit down with your employee or the department head for that matter to be able to identify who are those people within the organization that needs your help? Do we sit down with the department head and identify yung tenure ng mga employee based on their tenure? Ano na dapat yung growth na na-achieve nila? Nasaan na dapat sila sa point ng career nila? And that's when your training and development team becomes effective. Do not wait. Let us not wait for people to come to us. Let's go to the people and identify appropriate training for them. Okay? Now, once you train your people, once you train the employees, your challenge now is to retain them. Ano ba yung, let's go to the data. Let's make use of the data, of the facts. Ano yung average tenure ng mga information? When you take a look at the data, average, parang nakaka 2 years lang mga employee. Sa isang department na to, hindi na sa akin yung department head terminate due to performance issue. While sa isang department na to, puro tenured pero hindi nakakapag-deliver on time. Mababa yung key performance indicators. These are some of the concerns of the retention team, of the employee engagement team. In engaging people, you don't only recognize, you don't only reward. You make use of the information that you get from the data coming from, that's why it's very important that we maintain a complete cycle, a complete information of database. Kasi ang database natin, let the number speaks for itself. No? If you are seeing, hihimayin natin yung mga informations na yun. Hindi lang natin tinitingnan yung tenure kapag mag-annual performance evaluation na tayo kasi kailangan natin ma-identify yung 3 years up, 3% lang, 1%, 2%. We don't need those informations for that. the information to retain employee, these information are important to retain your employees. Is it a challenge for you to make sure that employees are actually like completing their learning experience? Na-achieve ba nila yung highest potential nila within the organization? Your data will speak for it, should be able to speak for it. Retaining employee or hiring employee, inspiring employee and developing employee is one thing, but retaining employee, that's another thing. And in terms of retention, recognition is just only one. Retaining them is actually consistently developing ways to also reward, to also recognize employees. Data still would show us that reward and retention is still one of the best drivers in employee retention and employee engagement. So let's focus on that and see and understand that there's like a lot more activities that we can do. We can define our functions in training and development team in a whole lot of different ways for us to be able to identify strategies that could not only inspire and develop people, but keep them as long as possible. But of course, definitely, in the life cycle of the employee, no employee is actually committed to be loyal to you for their lifetime. And as much as no company is committed to provide an opportunity and be present for the employee the lifetime. There would always be a time when a relationship will end, when our engagement will stop. But how would an employee leave the organization is actually an information that you can gather, you can get kung paano nila na-experience yung life nila sa organization. Sometimes, ang nagiging watch out or ang nagiging mali ng exit process natin pag nag-resign yung employee, number one, lagi natin silang nakikitang kaaway. Magre-resign na yan, aalis na yan, or ang una nating laging maiisip, secure our data, secure our information. Baka kuhanin niya yung database natin, baka dalhin niya yung client natin, baka kuhanin niya yung mga informations or processes and tools natin. But if your employee are engaged, if they have beautiful experience in the organization, you actually don't need to worry about exit. Exit is a beautiful chance, a good opportunity for you to be able to understand the life of the employee and how would they speak about you. Pag in-next interview mo na siya, more often, yung mga traditional way of exit interview, ang akala ng employee gigisahin siya kasi umalis siya, iniwanan niya yung team. Kasi nga ang pananaw ng mga HR, kalaban yung nag-resign na employee. But, another thing, tinitingnan lang natin ang exit interview by opportunity or feedback opportunity for us to get information. How can we improve our current processes? Ano yung pwede mong ma-input sa amin? You are supposed to ask those questions while they are there. By doing it regularly and sitting with them. HR should not limit in talking to the employees who comes to us. Tayo dapat ang bababa sa mga employees. And if you may want, if you have like red flags, you identify some, kagaya ng na-share ko kanina, dito sa team na to, nare-retain yung mga employees 2 years to 3 years, mababa ang KPIs. Hindi na-achieve yung KPI. Dito naman, laging umaalis yung mga employee, hindi nare-regular or hanggang 1 year lang, possibly may problema yung department head. How do you make use of these feedback mechanisms during the time that they are there? Hindi during the time that they are leaving. Because the time to leave is actually, the exit interview should actually be the time for you to thank the employee for the contributions, for the value that he or she brings into the organization. And it's should not be an opportunity to get feedback. We have to change that. So instead of saying, any words na very frustrating to hear for the employees, thank them. Give them that chance na ma-appreciate din nila yung sarili nila because ma-appreciate nila na pinasasalamatan mo sila sa value that they bring to the organization. Because again, how employees speak about you is an indicator of a successful engagement program or a successful employee experience. Sa employee engagement talk that I have, I think I remember the first time that Miss Neddy invited me over 2 years ago, I think. My topic during that time is about employee engagement through digital transformation. In that talk, I actually highlighted that as human resources, we understand pretty well that everything starts and ends with the people. And that people is everything for the organization. Sabi nga nila, maaaring lagi nyo na itong naririnig na, sabi nga nila, take care of your people and they will take care of your business. You don't value the business itself, but you value the people, because when you do that, you will be amazed by how much they can bring into the organization. Again, we are all people-centered. And in this talk, in employee experience, we make people understand that this is the entire employee experience or employee engagement program that you should actually work on. In the recruitment process pa lang, do you have clear job description? Do you have defined reporting line? Sa recruitment process, hindi po ito dapat dinidiscuss sa onboarding. Because in onboarding, taken na sila, na nag-yes na sila, nag-engage na sila. Sa simula pa lang. Kasi again, balik tayo sa inverted idea na hindi natin pinipilit, hindi natin binibili yung loyalty or pinipilit yung employee na mag-join sa atin. Again, binibenta natin yung kumpanya, binibenta natin yung organization. And for the employee, for the candidate to buy that, alam ba niya kung ano yung susuungin niya? Kung ano yung gagawin niya? Hindi lang reporting line. Sa recruitment, dapat nakadefine na yung development stage ng tao. What can I expect if I join you? Will I be given opportunity to actually learn and develop? In onboarding, apart from the usual welcome kit, marami tayong mga freebies na binibigay, marketing collaterals ng organizations, mugs and everything, nesting process. This should be the chance already for the employee to feel that they can thrive within the organization. And again, the employee the performance management. We have to change the idea. I remember one of our board of director, Ms. Jolene, would always correct us, no? Traditional HR would say, people management. She would say, she's a mentor, she's a coach. She would say, hey, Miss Janet, you don't manage people, you manage result, you manage performance. We have to change the perspective. Napakagandang learning process yun sa isang HR practitioner. That you change the way how you label management by people management, but performance management. And when we say performance management, do we use the right tool to evaluate people's performance? And do we know when we should do that? Normally, oftentimes, sa organization namin, meron kaming 1351. 1351, ito yung period kung kailan ko sila i-evaluate. One is on the first month. On the first month, we will be evaluating them in terms of their adaptability. Nakaka-adapt ba sila sa culture? Siyempre, hindi ka makakahanap ng culture fit agad. Nanggaling yan sa iba-ibang storya. Nanggaling yan sa ibang kumpanya. Kung bago man yan na magtrabaho, nanggaling yan sa personal historicity that is entirely different from mine or from yours. So, the first month would be measuring adaptability. The third month is measuring whether this person could actually be fit on the role or role fit. No? So, yung third month na yun, yung first month, iba yung tool na gagamitin mo. You cannot use one and the same evaluation tool. Iba yung tool kasi iba yung metrics na mini-measure. Again, culture fit, role fit ang third month. Thus, iba din ang form na gagamitin natin sa third month. Normally, on third month, I allow them to list down yung mga indicators na ini-expect sa kanila or yung mga tasks na based on the job description, they enlist the task and they enlist alongside sa other column, ano yung indicator kung na-achieve mo na yung task na yun, kung nagawa mo na. Yun yung hinahanap ko sa third month. May iba tayong tool. Sa fifth month, sabi ko kanina, 1, 3, 5, and 1. Sa fifth month, ito yung regularization na. Why fifth month? again, iiwan natin magkaroon ng regularization by default. Kasi automatic, pag ang employee hindi mo in-evaluate, 6 months and 1 day automatic regular na siya. That's the DOLE ruling. 6 months and 1 day, automatic regular. Pag hindi mo siya in-evaluate, wala ka nang magagawa. Kahit gusto mong tanggalin yan kasi non-performing, dapat ginawa mo yan beforehand. Kaya 5 months. On the 5th month, dun ko siya ginagawa to evaluate whether the employee is good for regularization. So nagtitrigger na sa system namin, beautiful pa rin ang nagawa ng pandemic kasi nakadevelop kami ng in-house system. Tinatawag namin siyang HR Bricks or HR Power. Ang HR Power system ni Bricks Power, nagtitrigger na siya. Nagra-route na siya ng form on its own based on the calendar. So nira-route niya na sa employee. Pagkatapos ng employee, may deadline niya. Sasabihin ng notification sa employee, you are to respond to this notification within 48 hours. Pagkatapos nun, 2 weeks before the fifth month, nag-start na mag-route. Mag-notify or mag-a-alert siya papunta sa team lead. Kung may team lead siya, kung wala, kung may manager siya, or department head, depende sa structure. The team lead is also given certain number of days lang to get back to you. It should be with HR on exactly on the 5th month. Ang 5th month, ang first week after 5th month, yun yung time for HR to route the forms, the documentations. Kung naka-app na kayo, kung naka-system na kayo to trigger the alert sa system. Second week of the 5th month, dapat na-confirm mo na kung for regularization ng employer, which is supposedly you are at 90% assured na lahat ng nakaabot ng 5th month, so ang 5th month, more on confirmation na lang dapat siya. And after ng regular ng employee, there is what we call annual evaluation. That's why it's 1351. 1351 or 1351 evaluation process in Bricks Power. Ang annual evaluation, we are making it clear to the employees that this is not for purpose of salary increase or increment. Ang purpose natin ng annual evaluation is to measure kung mga indicators ba na nilatag mo 1 year ago is still the same. Nag-i-evolve kasi yung work function. Ito yung common mistake ng mga human resource professionals. Hindi nare-review yung job description versus sa evolution ng business. Kasi kaya nga na-evolve din tayo bilang human resource, from human resource lang, simple human resource, to human resource business partner kasi we have to be able to identify the business metrics. At itong business metrics na to dapat na i-infuse natin doon sa mga indicators na nire-require natin every performance evaluation period. So all of these 4 evaluation ay meron tayong tool na magkakaiba. I'll be happy to share this tool to you if you would need. Feel free for free, no? Just request one. Apart from that, meron pa akong tinatawag na periodic evaluation. So periodic evaluation, meron itong separate na 2 klase ng form. Meron siyang coaching form and monitoring form. Ginagawa natin ng periodic evaluation kapag may department head na nagre-report na merong low performing employee. Instead of, kasi mostly, lalo na yung mga walang tiyaga mag-train na mga employee, they tend to micromanage, no? Remember, red flag po yung micromanagement. Micromanagement is an indicator that the leader or the department head is or has very low skills on leadership. Pag nag-micromanage, red flag nyo na yan. Ang ititrain nyo hindi yung tao, yung department head, yung team leader or yung supervisor. Ang measurement natin sa coaching, pag may employee, pag may team lead or department head na nag-report, low performing, usually they would come, terminate mo na yan, performance issue. Are this documented? When you do that, you have to make sure. Remember, very tricky po yung termination due to performance. Dapat covered tayo, protected tayo ng lahat ng mga documentations. And when we say documentation pag performance related, meron tayong gagamitin na coaching form. Sa coaching form, ipapa-identify natin kay department head ano yung mga areas na low siya, low yung performance niya. And paano mo nakikita i-resolve ito? Again, tayo ay daluyan lamang. Facilitators tayo. We don't do it for them. You have to make sure that every opportunity you have to talk with the department head is an opportunity for you to train them also. So napakabigat, no? Ng performance management, hindi lang pala magme-measure ka, magna-number ka. You have to make sure that this is an opportunity you are training the department head. Again, your department head is your mini HR, your mini me. So dapat naiintindihan nila anong mga metrics na meron sa kada employee at paano siya ma-achieve. Anong indicator na na-achieve siya. Kaya meron tayong KRA, meron tayong KPI. Kasi kailangan alam ni department head kung ito yung measurement na ini-expect nila for employee to perform. Kailangan makasell ka ng 5 computers within 1 week. Alam ba ng employee kung paano gagawin yun? Nabigyan mo ba siya ng strategies? Nabigyan mo ba siya ng appropriate tools? You are measuring the department head every time dapat na nagre-report siya ng low-performing employee. That's an opportunity for you to see, not only to evaluate the employee. So on the coaching form, go back tayo sa coaching form, no? On the coaching form, si department head mismo ang mag-identify ng training needs ng employee. Ang role ng HR sa coaching form, i-monitor lang natin kailan. Normally, kapag meron akong coaching form, minimit ko ang coachee at ang coach every week. Tinitingnan natin yung binigay mo bang target na achieve ng employee or hindi. Pag after the coaching, nag-improve si employee, pero ganun pa rin ang reklamo ng department head, si department head mo na ang may problema. Kailangan mo na siyang upuan, baka siya yung kailangan mong i-train. You see how beautiful performance management is? This could actually allow you to see the entire structure kung paano minamanage ng department head yung mga tao down the line. So again, in the performance management, you should be able to use the correct tools, identify when and what are you measuring. Okay? Let's move on with the learning and development. Again, sabi natin kanina, training and development is not only an opportunity for you to scout for right public training or develop the in-house training modules. That's also an opportunity for you to see sino yung mga taong makakatulong sa iyo. The training and development function is not owned by human resources alone. You should be able to identify resource person within the organization. And this resource person are those subject matter experts that are in the right position to actually tell employees a particular learning curve that they have to achieve within certain period. So it can be done in a lot of ways. You can do training, you can do coaching, you can do mentoring. There's a lot of ways to do that. I hope I'd be able to also have a separate discussion about this with HR Calabarzon later on. And of course, career management. Sabi natin kanina, sa recruitment pa lang dapat alam niya na ano yung ma-achieve niya pag nag-join siya ng organization. What's in it for me? Hindi siya dapat envelope na pipilitin mo pang ilabas. It should be an open paper. It should be able to present to the employee upon recruitment. Kasi na-identify natin why it's important for you to have the succession planning. Yung second liners natin, it protects, it ensures stability of the organization. It protects your processes, and it protects also a certain indicators of job performance ng bawat department. Meron kang tao sa second liner, pag ito biglang nag-resign or may emergency biglang nawala, kaya bang mag-survive ng organization or ng team kahit bigla ang may nawala sa plano? And at the same time, career management also should provide or offer opportunity for leadership development. Lagi nating tinitingnan dapat, because on the perspective of the employee, kasi on the perspective of the employee, ang lagi nilang hinahanap paano sila mag-grow sa career nila. Laging kasama dito, magkakaroon ba sila ng opportunity to lead, to manage people, to manage results of the employees? You should give them that. The training and development opportunity and the career management opportunity should be able to, provide these to your employees. Okay, and in my other discussion, again, go back tayo, sabi natin ng HR 360, the success, the measurement, the indicator of the successful human resource management is on the employee experience. we must always strive to provide or to offer a fulfilling HR experience or human resource people experience within the scope of our influence. Tayong mga HR, sabi niyo kanina doon sa mga sagot ninyo, how do they see HR? Takbuhan siya, lapitan siya ng mga tao. Do we have this kind of mindset? Do we have the mindset of how to help people? Let me share to you that the person and the process are also should be considered all at the same time. When we take a look at the end-to-end human experience or employee experience within the organization, you should be able to develop this scheme. It should be systematic. Systematic because it comes with the numbers, it comes with the time, it comes with how, when, and why. And you should be able to identify your objective. Kung babalikan natin kanina, bawat phase, bawat facets ng HR, may kanya-kanya tayong function, may kanya-kanya tayong measure na reason for the existence ng individual teams. And these particular facets, this particular team structure should be that of a supportive in nature, supportive in character, engaging in character, transparent and empowering. That defines your entire HR process in the organization. And because of that, allow me to share with you, how I actually structure my organization, my HR team in general. I don't know if this is also the same to some of the HR managers here in this afternoon, HR managers or HR supervisor. Pero ganito ko kasi siya nakita, which may or may not work for you. Just sharing, no? This is how I fulfill the entire employee experience. As to how I structure my team, ang watch out lang natin mostly, medyo nalilito tayo dun sa stages ng human resource. Some starts with associate, specialist, general, officer, supervisor, manager. It really depends, no? No size fits all. That's why it's very important that when you do the structure development, that when you do the leveling, naaral talaga natin overall yung organization. This is what we call OD or organizational development. Aralin natin yung business line, yung how people are actually like doing their function or their task every day. There's no common denominator sa tamang structure sa organization or sa HR team. Dito, ganito ko lang siya nakita kasi what I did is I actually allow all the HR team. I have like 31 HR under me in one company, and putting them together, I think around 50 human resource personnel doing different things in different industries. So you have to let them or provide them opportunity to actually experience end-to-end. Sabi ko kanina, full spectrum nung profession natin. End-to-end. In such a way na, for example, this half, 1 quarter, recruitment ka. Or 6 months. Sabihin natin too short yung 1 quarter. 6 months, recruitment ka. Following 6 months, within that year, try mo munang mag-learning and development. If it works, okay, go tayo sa iba pa, mag-complement ka. It's very important na madaanan nila lahat. Kaya nga ini-encourage ko yung mga human resource staff. Mag-generalist muna kayo bago nyo hilingin mag-specialist kayo. Why? Dapat nakikita natin yung end-to-end na ginagawa. When I was like starting with my career in human resources, you know how I started understanding? Ako yung pumila sa SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig. Maghapon, inunawa ko kung ano yung proseso. Paano ginagawa yung pagpa-file? During that time, that was like what? 2 decades ago, 20 years ago, nang nag-start pa lang ako, para maunawaan ko ang nirereklamo ng liaison officer. Nagagalit ako during that time. Bakit isang buong araw sa PhilHealth ka lang natapos? Tapos bukas ulit tayo makakagawa ng pag-ibig at ng SSS. Parang isang araw sa bawat GMB na ipoprocess. So what I did, I tried to do it on my own. Experience ko siyang gawin. Mula sa preparation ng GMB report hanggang sa pagpa-file, pagbabayad, hanggang pag-transition to ego. hanggang pakikipag-usap sa accounting kung paano nila i-approve ang ego, hanggang sa pag-determine kapag may error. And I did experience calling SSS na habang buong maghapon kakatawag, hindi mo pa makukontak. So these things will actually define kung paano ka magiging effective in monitoring people by actually understanding it and experiencing doing all of these things on your own. Lahat naman siguro dito ng HR manager nagmula sa HR associate. Pero again, kung ikaw ang HR manager, ibigay mo sa kanila ang pagkakataon na matutunan nila end-to-end by actually clustering the function and allowing them chance na umikot sa lahat ng clusters na yon. Kasi pagkatapos niyan, ikaw din, natututo ka din in terms of managing them. Ano yung growth rate ng bawat isa? Iba-iba kasi. Parang, teka muna, sa HR1, nilagay ko sa HR6, sa recruitment 6 months, natutunan niya na nakapag-develop siya ng bagong processes and bagong recruitment tools, interview tools. Pero sa HR2, nilagay ko dito 6 months, nandun pa rin siya sa basic interviewing procedure. Hindi pa rin niya maintindihan paano yung tamang pag-source. Ano yung gamit ng job description pag nagsosource ng tao. So, it's very tricky to develop your people. And the secret that I could share to you is to do this. What I did is I cluster for the entire employee life cycle, I starts with recruitment. And because Comp Ben is in a way related, inisang cluster ko silang dalawa. So that yung benefits very clear to the employee pag nag-recruit siya, nakikita niya rin yung buong movement ng compensation and benefits. Okay? Ang employee engagement and employee relations, again, kasi as I shared kanina, pag nakikita ng mga employee tumayo yung isang HR ko na may dalang red folder, takot na sila. Red folder kasi yung dala-dala parati ng ER. Pagka pupunta sila sa floor, pag nag-floor walk sila at may dala silang red folder at pupunta sa room, may NTE na at maghihintay kung sinong tatawagin papasok sa loob. So ayaw natin ng ganung feeling ang madadala natin sa employees. Kasi ang measurement ng effective ER team is the zero offense. Lagi yun yung tina-target natin. Hindi yung nagawa ba natin yung tamang refreshing period ng mga offenses, nalagay ba natin sa tamang level yung offenses. You know, ang lagi nating measurement, walang nagkakaroon ng sanction. Okay? Kung nagkaroon ng offense, at least you are able to correct it through coaching or other ways. So, employee engagement all together with employee relations, and pinagsama ko sa performance management and learning and development. Why? Sa performance management, pag na-identify mo yung low performance indicators nila, you would be able to also correlate it with the learning and development that are needed by the employees. So very interrelated yung clustering na ginawa ko. And then what I did is I allow them chance to rotate from all of these clusters within the year dapat na iikot nila. And ang second year na succession planning that I did with the human resource team, second year is that's when I asked them, okay, na-experience mo na lahat, ano yung gusto mong i-focus? Pag finocus niya yan, ibig sabihin, ready na ba siya para i-handle yan? So you can already define paano mo i-improve yung kanyang performance by actually ensuring na alam niya ano yung ini-expect dapat sa kanya. You can also do this when you develop succession planning for the operations team. We also have a separate tool for that. Okay? So there. Ang hirap, no? Sabi natin kanina, sorry, marami na akong nakwento, marami na akong na-share. Sabi natin kanina, since very complicated, complex, and masyadong mahaba at marami tayong pag-uusapan kapag pinag-usapan natin ng human resources, marami tayong papakialaman. Kapag kabuhay ng employee within the organization ang pag-uusapan, buong buo, ang hirap hati-hatiin. Pero the only way to be able to understand that, again, is to see this from the perspective of the employee, and another way is to see this from your own perspective. Ito yung ina-expect ng employee sa HR. Ito yung ina-expect ng company na ma-deliver ng HR. 360 degree sa life ng employee. But how can you do that? How can you give that? Okay? You are expected to always be able to manifest these values. Again, we should be effective in actually implementing all of those, but you would never be if you don't actually radiate honesty, integrity, and trust. within the organization. And to be able to do that, dapat nakikita nila what's true to them is also true to you. Kung ano yung implementation sa kanila, yun din dapat sa'yo. Walang exemption. I'm the VP for HR already, but I still log in and out. Nagba-biometrics ako. At pag nasa field ako, nagpipicture pa ako kung nasan ako with my time in and time out. Why? You should show to your employees that you are not exempted from the rules. You should be able to radiate the trust. Give them, but also demand them. Celebrate teamwork. And when you talk about teamwork, kung nire-require mo siya sa department heads mo, dapat nakikita din siya ng mga department heads sa sarili mong team within the organization. How do you do that? There's a lot of ways to be able to make sure that they are. Teamwork is usually parang, how do I say, parang palasak na siyang usapin sa human resources. Kaya nga meron tayong mga team buildings, may mga activities tayo, companies spend a lot of it. I remember prior COVID, our company would usually give 1,000 per employee per month. Pumunta kayo kung saan nyo gustong pumunta, gawin nyo kung ano yung gusto nyo gawin to relieve the stress. And we're fine with it. But when I realized, when we were like running it for like, what, 6 months, 1 year already, 1,000 and 1,000 per employee per month, they're all very engaged, syempre, kasi very lively and nakaka-release sila ng stress. But you have at a point to put a pause and actually define what's the even higher meaning or target to this. So we evolve this into corporate social responsibility. From that budget, your team should be able to define certain percentage that you could allocate to a certain corporate social responsibility activities. And this one, they develop the program on their own. And we encourage people to co-share and join and adopt a community. That gives bigger meaning. And when you call for teamwork, hindi lang siya on a prima facie or on the face lang nung teamwork per se. We are actually allowing them a chance to radiate what the team can do or capable of doing by creating meaning and adding and adding value to other people's lives by interfolding the team building activities to a corporate social activities, corporate social responsibility activities. And of course, there, encourage communication. There's a lot of ways that we can do that in human resources. You communicate externally, no, from internal organization so that people would know ano yung meron tayo. Meron tayong mga boards sa office, memo boards, meron tayong e-newsletter, meron tayo sa ating mga HRIS na mga did you know na corner. But apart from that, you also have to accept, inward, hindi lang outward yung communication, inward. By what? By how? We provide feedback mechanisms. We allow them in the human resource system that we created. Ginawa namin siyang parang Facebook wherein they can actually shout out their feelings for the day. They can actually have, we allow them an area or a module in the HRIS wherein they can send in comments or feedbacks to certain employees, either commendation or meron silang issue about how certain security guard would actually like uphold security measures. So again, ang communication should always be two ways. Hindi lang tayo mga HR ang magbababa ng mandate galing sa management. Magre-receive din tayo ng mga comments and feedbacks from the employees. And make sure that you have a regular session with the management to escalate all of these comments and feedbacks, because you don't want the communication to be stopped by inward and outward process. There should be a result. There should be an output. Communication is just your input. An output is a project or a program that could identify a way in which you can resolve those issues that has been, identified in the communication process. Okay. And focus on customers. As human resources, ang customers natin are our employees. And provide opportunity that could actually allow people to innovate, learn from what they are already doing, improve from what they are currently doing, and accept change. oftentimes change management in human resources is one of the most difficult items. Kasi people would have a lot of different different level of acceptance in change. Sometimes they reject it because they fear of change. They worry about the result of change. But change management would also encourage human resources to go down to the level of the people and make them understand the current situation and what's about to happen. If they understand what could happen, then it would most likely that they would embrace the change and go alongside with you. You champion the change. Okay? And then the employee development. Of course, going back, employee development, that's same as what we discussed earlier. Modeling leadership. Tayo lagi ang tinitingnan ng mga tao. Accept it or not, all eyes are on us, on human resources. And the way how to become more effective in their eyes is to be able to radiate what you require from them, what you are actually expecting from them, and producing quality results by quality program. So these are all the first few slides that I discussed are all on the employee side. What are the expectations of the employee and the management about HR? What is HR about in the life of the people? And overall, allow me some time to share to you this one. Siguro kilala niyo siya? Kilala niyo ba siya? Lagi kong ini-encourage yung mga department leaders to actually watch this. Dr. Goodwin in Netflix.
Ma'am, wala talagang sounds.
Walang sound, sorry. Okay, wait. Hindi ko yata na-share yung sound.
Stop share ka muna, ma'am.
Share sound.
Dr. Goodman?
How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Imagine I just said, how can I help in Tuvaluan? How can I help? Just shout it out. Max Goodwin, how can I help? 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 I need your help.
How can I help?
That's very good. Because I just want to know.
See? Okay. Thank you. See? That's actually who we are in the eyes of our employees. But someone that they can run to. Someone that they can go to every time that they need something. In fact, a lot of you would agree with me if I say even personal issues, they come to you, share to you. They expect that we should be ready with the help that they need at that particular time. How can you help? But how can you help? How can you give if you are not prepared for it, if you are not ready? Now, this is where the second perspective would come in. The second perspective on HR 360 or the full cycle of human development starts from the most important person, which is you. In my talk in 2021, in December 2021, as the closing HR Calabarzon session in 2021, Project Me, I put emphasis on helping people or creating value to other people's lives by actually focusing on Project Me. Project Me, the mission empowers starts from you as human resource personnel. You should be able to empower yourself first before you can empower others. And empowering people, it takes a lot of courage, but it also takes a lot of ignorance that there's so much more that we still need to do. There's so much more. Our employees are actually a result of their personal historicity. They all came from different history. They are all bearing different stories of their lives. And just like our employees, we also came from a story. Ikaw, ano yung kwentong HR mo? Bakit ka ng HR? Ano yung reason bakit ka nandito? Allow me to share to you a story way back in college. I have this best friend. We would actually regularly talk, meet kami. And people don't understand, yung closeness namin. Kasi lalaki, yung best friend ko. Way back from college, I would always come to him and share to him stories about what's happening with me, my dreams, my aspirations. And this best friend would always come to me and say, ikaw talaga ang aking cabinet. Ha? Sabi ko, bakit cabinet? He would say, cabinet, you're like a cabinet. Cabinet is a very important but most taken for granted na item sa bahay, di ba? Nandiyan lang siya, nakikita mo, dinadaan-daanan. But cabinet is very essential, very important. You put all your valuables inside the cabinet. No one can actually move whatever you put inside unless somebody goes to it and take it out. Di ba? Ganun yung identity ng cabinet. Sabi niya, parang ganun ka rin, cabinet kita. Kasi pag pinasok ko dyan, hindi mo ilalabas hanggat hindi ko nilalabas. Hindi mo kusang iluluwa ang kung ano yung pinasok ko. And that cabinet story created impact in me. Sabi niya, I hope there could be a lot more cabinets in other people's lives also. I hope other people would have their own cabinets as well. Someone who they can trust that would take care of their valuables and wouldn't, put it out or bring it out unless I need it. And when I need it, when I need that valuable, I get it, I use it, put it back, whether I decide to throw it, that's on my decision. So parang he is actually like personifying me into a cabinet wherein I could be entrusted with his dreams and aspirations. And when I went back to the moment when I am starting to define my career, in early 20s, I was like, where would I want to go? And then my answer came in, resounding back. Sabi niya, be a cabinet to a lot more people. Go ahead and inspire more people to appreciate that cabinet in you. And that's when I became an HR. So ikaw, anong kwentong HR mo? Bakit ka nandito? And how do you make sure that cabinet in you is actually built and rebuilt, regularly revisiting, and that it's becoming stronger than when it was built, so that it can serve a lot more people. And to do that, to be able to do that, start projecting yourself. Project Me is a very essential tool for this second perspective. An HR 360 would only have meaning, not only because that's how people and management sees you, but that's how you see yourself moving on, doing everything that you could to actually learn and be of help, just like Dr. Goodwin. How can I help? Always be willing to help. Always be ready for other people, because that's what actually gives meaning. And when we say like projecting or developing yourself, you are empowering yourself. You have positive choices. Does it radiate to other people? Do you take action to advance your being? Are you confident enough to be able to execute these ideas, these strategies, this direction? Self-empowerment speaks so much about how we are actually identifying what we are capable of doing and what we lack, what needs improvement. Ang meaning ng human resources, if you want to understand what you want to do in the next few days, kanina may nag-heart, no? Meaning, soon, HR soon pa lang siya, gusto niyang ma-develop himself niya to become an HR. Then answer this first. Are you empowered enough? Do you understand what you can do and what you cannot? And once you understand what you cannot, what are you going to do about this? Because there's no way that you can do those complicated HR functions that I just shared earlier and become responsible of other people's lives, how they will become happy and how will they develop within the organization. That's your responsibility. And to become responsible of other people's lives, you have to be responsible of your own growth. And to do that, continue evolving, continue rebuilding the cabinet in you, because we are all meant to actually complete the nothingness of other people. So kala Ma'am Stella, and the rest who are already HR manager and HR supervisor here. If you are a seasoned practitioner, find a mentee. And if you are a newbie, find a mentor. Again, we are all shaped up by the relationship that we are building within us. And always find your meaning by helping people, by bringing value to other people, because there's so much that are installed for us, awaiting for us to be unfolded. You know, there's a lot of stories outside within your employees, within your team, that are waiting to unfold, and be that agent, you know, to help people go out of the difficult process of developing, being a cocoon, you know, the butterfly. Napakahirap ng metamorphosis process. Be that person that is ready to help them grow, to help them achieve their full potentials. Dapat baguhin na natin yung paradigm ng HR ay kinakatakutan. Ang HR dapat ay laging ready to develop other people. But again, to do that, develop and empower yourself first. If you are a new hire or a new HR, choose a mentor. And if you are a seasoned practitioner, find a mentee. Let us all find our purpose together. See for yourself and identify what you want to do. Okay, so that ends my sharing. I would want to encourage everyone to share, who may want to share their experience with human resources. I'm gonna stop my sharing now, and you can raise your hand. Please do share with us. Again, sabi ko kanina, I want this talk to become more relaxed, para mas nai-express natin ang experience natin as human resource, and ano din yung experience ng mga tao sa atin bilang HR. So, kung sino po yung may gustong i-share, ibahagi doon dito sa mga newbies natin, please kindly unmute yourself. And one, you can share to us
Sila ma'am.
anything about your experience.
Hello ma'am, we have question here. Okay lang ba? Sagutin natin ang tanong.
Apo,
Wait, hindi ko makita. Paano ko makita? Naka-share screen pala ako.
i-watch niyo po yung New Amsterdam. It's very nice for leadership.
Yes, our question. Good afternoon po. We are presently focusing to improve the retention in the department. May I ask any ideas to boost employee retention? Kindly give us a specific activities if you have any ideas to share. Thank you.
Tricky, no, ang retention. Hindi po kasi siya one-time activity. Sabi natin kanina, to retain your employees, to engage your employees, it actually starts from recruitment hanggang mag-exit sila. So specifically, I actually shared very specific examples as I was like revolving around Elizabeth Lufer's paradigm kanina. Sa recruitment pa lang, para ma-engage at ma-retain mo sila, sa recruitment pa lang dapat nakalatag na kung ano yung mga job descriptions nila. Ano yung i-expect nila. And habang dinidevelop mo sila, dapat regularly na i-evaluate and na-meet yung mga learning needs nila. From that one, it's less likely na hindi natin ma-retain yung mga employees. Normally, ang common activities na ginagawa ng mga HR to retain employees, reward, recognitions, reward. We have monthly Team Hero Awards, for example. But again, sabi natin, full cycle dapat yung retention process, yung employee engagement process, full cycle. Mula sa pag-join hanggang sa pag-exit nila. Hindi ito mariresolve ng isang activity lang. Kailangan ang organizational development perspective mo iisa. Titingnan mo siya mula sa mga tools na ginagamit sa recruitment hanggang sa performance management, hanggang sa exit interview. At ang mga tool na to ang magde-define ng mga activities sa'yo kung na-achieve ba siya or hindi. Yung kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina na halimbawa ng Team Hero Award na every month, hindi kakayanin ng Team Hero Award, quarterly performance award. These are just like one and very, ano po siya how do I say, very shallow na activities na normally natitake for granted. Akala natin yun ang makakapag-retain sa mga employee. Bigyan mo ng GC, bigyan mo ng mga team building activities, dalhin mo sila sa summer outing, magkaroon ng very fabulous na mga corporate events like Christmas party. These are not retention strategies. Retention strategies actually talks about how do you allow growth for your people, because nowadays, people don't stay for salary alone. People stays for peace of mind, for happiness that they get because they are achieving their full potentials, for the culture, the organizational culture. I mentioned earlier, the culture is actually defined by their experience and how they speak about you. That's your indicator. So again, retention activities such as reward and recognition, activities like team buildings, these are just, very shallow samples of retaining employees. Dive deeper sa need ng employee and make sure that you meet those needs, because only in meeting employees' needs would they be willing to stay with you longer than what? What's the usual lifespan ng mga employees natin ngayon, lalo na yung mga newbies? Hindi sila tumatagal ng more than 2 years. In less than 1 year or a little more than 1 year, aalis na yan. Kasi hindi na meet yung needs nila. Hindi na meet yung expectations nila. And that in itself is retention. Identify the needs, identify the expectations, equivalent to retention.
Ma'am, knowing na yun na nga, yun lalo na yung mga bago ngayon, yung mga millennials na tinatawag. Ako yun millennials Charot.
Charot.
Tinawanan ako ng Jorina. Sorry, si Jorina pala yung millennials, hindi pala ako millennials. Isa kasi sa mga problema namin mga natin, mga HR manager. Tama ba ako mga HR manager dyan, kaway-kaway na hindi millennials? Nagiging problema natin yan, lalo na yung mga millennials, na para bang feeling ng hindi ko alam kung mali ako ng interpretasyon sa mga millennials. Parang ang sa akin kasi is, talaga nagiging problema ng mga HR na minsan hindi nga nakaka 6 months, umaalis na yung mga millennials. Lalo na yung mapagalitan mo, may tumatawa dito sa harapan ko. Mapagalitan mo, mapagsabihan mo.
Young people can...
Wait lang, may masasabi ako bilang bata.
Okay. Bilang bata.
Kasi 24 pa lang ako
Millennials ka ba? Millennials ka, Doreen?
Gen Z na ako. Ako yung mas bata pa sa millennial. Pero sa perspective nga ng mga kabataan na kahenerasyon ko, kasi more on exploration at saka more on entrepreneurial yung mindset kasi ng henerasyon talaga namin. And ang tendency nun, naghahanap kami ng fulfillment sa isang trabaho. Hindi nga namin mahanap ng fulfillment sa isang trabaho. And syempre, yung mga Gen Z katulad ko, na doon kami sa mga gadgets, information era. So, sanay kami sa hindi kami nagtatagal. Maikli lang din yung attention span namin. Pag hindi kami nag-grow, aalis kami. Yun.
So, ma'am, pag ganun, ma'am, ano yung pwede nating gawin as an HR manager para hindi magkaroon tayo ng mga problema regarding sa retention?
Okay, babalik pa rin ako doon sa empowerment. Ang mga young generation kasi, if you want to understand the behavior of your people within the organization, you have to go back to the culture. What's the period of time when they grow up? Ano ba yung mga panahon? Kung naalala niyo po yung hierarchy of needs, 'di ba? During that time kasi, nandun pa tayo sa naghahanap tayo ng basic needs natin. Pero itong mga people ngayon, itong mga generation ngayon, nandun na sila sa provided na lahat ng parents nila. Very easy na yung buhay. Hindi na sila pupunta sa library. Magsa-cellphone na lang sila, makukuha na nila yung mga information na kailangan nila. Kaya hindi rin sila ganun ka pushy when it comes to doing and extending more of themselves, milestone. Medyo wala silang ganung concept. Kasi nga, nasanay sila na everything is easy. With a click, in an eye, in a request, nandun lahat. So, ang pinaka-secret pa rin na never gets old, empower them. Provide them responsibility. People tends to be engaged when there's something that they are responsible for. Pag binigyan mo sila ng isang project, ang mostly kasi ang mga generations ngayon, sabi ko nga sa inyo, napakadali na sa kanila yung lahat eh. Kahit very complicated yan sa atin, makikita mo, bigyan mo yan ng complicated data, makukuha nila yung result na kailangan mo. Pero pag hindi nila nararamdaman na ini-entrust sa kanila yon, aalis talaga sila. Pag hindi nila nararamdaman na nag-grow sila, ano ang barometer ng growth ng mga kabataan ngayon? Kapag merong something na matatawag nilang sa kanila. At paano magkakaroon ng matatawag nilang sa kanila? Empower mo sila to handle one project. Bigyan mo sila ng isang project na sila yung may obligasyon na mag-handle, na mag-monitor, na mag-implement niyan. Makikita mo how amazing they could, come back to you with good results. It's very proven. Marami akong, with my 50 human resource pre-pandemic, marami sa kanila Gen Z, millennials, mga ano pa yan, Lasallians, na kilala natin, na masyado talagang provided yung mga batang ganyan. Hindi na sila nahirapan kahit sa school, lahat nandun, available yung lahat ng resources. Pero pag binigyan mo yan ng otoridad sa isang bagay, sa isang project, amazing results could come back.
True.
So, ang sikreto pa rin, ibigay mo sa kanila ang hinahanap nila.
The problem na lang, ma'am, is the problem is yung manager na handling those personnel. Kasi honestly, nararanasan ko yan with my team. Dahil yung team ko talaga, with my company, is lahat yan ay millennials. At talagang ramdam nila na, yes, I'm giving them the power to do something. Pinapayagan ko silang magkamali, pinapayagan ko silang matuto sa sarili nila. Pero ang problema yung mga kasamahan mong co-managers na hindi kayang magtiwala dahil nga daw bata pa.
Yan, speaking of, Ma'am Neds, we have a question regarding that, Ma'am Janet.
Ay, may question. May karugtong ng question, no?
Galing sa Google Form Sheets natin. Ngayon, ang question daw is, how to coach a micromanaging manager? Nagma-micromanage daw siya.
Sabi natin kanina, red flag ang management. Kasi ibig sabihin, she lacks leadership skill. So focus on the leadership skill. Sit down with that manager. Ang pinakamadali to coach a micromanaging manager, sit down with him and ask him of the vision for his team. Ano yung nai-imagine niya? Ano yung gusto niyang gawin sa team niya? And don't provide answer. Let him answer kung paano niya nakikitang ma-achieve yung gusto niya. Siya yung bigyan mo ng chance na pigain niya yung lahat ng brain cells niya. Kasi the reason kung bakit nagma-micromanage ang isang micromanager, hindi sila confident na kaya nilang ma-monitor ang performance ng mga tao. Bakit? Kasi may blur line sila sa kung ano yung expectations nila. That's why, sit down with them and make them envision ano yung dream nila sa team and paano nila maa-achieve yun. Kung siya yung team member, paano niya nakikitang maa-achieve yun? And tingnan natin ngayon, in the perspective of human resources, kung yun ba yung tamang indicator. Baka kasi may disalign. Nagmi-mismanage siya kasi paiba-iba siya ng direksyon. Usually, ang mga nagma-micromanage ay ang mga taong hindi alam ang gusto nilang gawin at ang gusto nilang mangyari. Reactive sila kasi nagbabago sila ng decision at ng strategy depende sa naging result ng karampot na ginalaw ng team. Karampot na ginalaw kasi every time nagagalaw, papaurungin mo ng 2 beses at para kayong nagtatango, 1 step forward, 2 step backward kasi takot. Kasi hindi alam ano talaga yung gusto. Yun yung red flag. Pag nagma-micromanage, mahina ang leadership skill. At mahina ang leadership skill kasi hindi malinaw sa kanya yung direksyon na gusto niya.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Janet. Sana nasagutan po yung katanungan. And we have another follow-up question. Paano daw natin mamamanage ang multi-generational workforce? Lalo na at ngayon nga, sobrang techy na talaga and rapid na talaga ang mga pagbabago ng henerasyon. Napakaraming henerasyon na talaga sa workforce, di ba?
Okay. Kahit ako siguro, kahit anong age ng workforce, lagi may certain meeting points na na kailangan ninyong pag-agrihan lahat. At ano to? Ano yung goal? Lagi tayong babalik sa goal. Pag defined sa buong workforce ang goal, regardless, magkakaroon lang siguro kung meron kang different na or various na generation ng workforce mo, magkakaroon lang ng pagkakaiba-iba sa strategy at sa handling. And okay lang yon because you have to allow them certain space to become creative. You know what you have to do? Just set the goal, define the goal, and let them do it their way. Parang yung idea na, I remember, okay, sabi ko nga kanina, napakahalaga ng story, no? Napaka-importante ng story. All of us has different individual stories or we came from different historicity. So mahalaga na unawain natin anong story behind. Yung goal setting kasi, dapat alam natin ano yung gusto nating ma-achieve. Kapag ka hinayaan mo, inalaw mo ng room yung mga tao to actually do this on their own way, you can be amazed sa magiging results nila. Iba-iba yung strategies ng bawat generation kasi iba-iba yung pinanggalingan nila. Pero kung pare-parehas yung tinitingnan ninyo, nasa iisang direction kayo, kung kanan kayo lahat, paano man nila gustong pumunta, mag-maze man sila papunta doon, basta yun yung gusto nating puntahan. Malinaw sa kanila na yun yung gusto nating ma-achieve. However they want to go through that direction is up to them. Why do you do that? Because again, sabi ko kanina, we should be too ignorant enough to accept that there's so much more that we don't know and that these people can fill in. Hindi kasi it takes a lot of wisdom to really appreciate other people's way that is outside your own ways, no? But it takes a lot of ignorance to accept that these other people can also fill in from what's lacking on you. And you allow them this creativity. You allow them this space. Basta alam nila kung ano yung goal ng team, kung ano yung goal ng organization. Hayaan mo silang gawin kung paano nila gustong gawin. I don't normally give people instruction on how to do things. I just tell them my what, and my why. Bahala sila kung paano ang how. They have to answer it. Kasi ang strategy natin to be able to sweep through the different expertise and the different strategies of the different generation is to be able to have one in the same direction, one in the same goal. Pag malinaw yan sa kanila, hayaan mo silang maging creative. Gamitin nila lahat ng interest and faculties nila. Because there's nothing more tiring than a manager who would actually tell you kung kailan ka maglalagay ng kuwit at tuldok sa sentence mo. Dapat hayaan mo silang magsulat ng sarili nilang storya. Hayaan mo silang gumawa ng sarili nilang storya because when you do that, when you provide enough room for them to be creative, more than pa sa result na ina-expect mo yung babalik sa'yo. Kasi mas magagaling sila. Mas magagaling yung ibang tao. Kesa sa'yo, there's so much that are lacking in all of us. No? All of us are better than one of us. Sabi niya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Janet. Any other questions po from... Ayan, okay, we have something from our audience.
Miss Sheila, ma'am, sige po. Mag-unmute po kayo, ma'am.
If I may share lang po my thoughts about being micro and macro managing, I think there are situations that you need to do both as long as you and your team is on the same goals. I do agree with you, Miss Janet, and also the too much micro can break our key talents. And sabi po ni Sir Ernan, tama po. Basta time-bound, ang importante ay yung end result.
Diba? Ang saya. Ang daming mga HR experts sa audience natin. So, nakakatuwa na may pare-parehas tayong perspective. So, I hope there could be more of us, of our likes, no? Para mas ma-encourage natin yung participation and ma-encourage natin yung creativity ng mga tao.
Okay, any other questions po ba from the crowd or want to share their thoughts?
Okay, mukhang wala na silang question.
Wala na nga.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for having Janet and Briggs Power this afternoon.
Yes,
Maraming salamat, HRC.
Huwag ka muna Nagpapasalamat. Wait lang.
Oo, wait lang.
Wait lang, ma'am. Nagpapasalamat ka pa eh.
Ay, hindi pala.
Ma'am Zarina, can you please share to them again what are our policies to get an e-certificate?
Okay, thank you. For participants who will get our e-certificates, we will provide e-certificate for a minimal of 50 pesos per webinar per attendee. Half of the minimal fee will be donated to our HR Calabarzon's beneficiary for her heart surgery. E-certificate will be sent to you 7 working days, July 5, 2022, after the workshop, hindi kasama ang Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. And validation of your minimal fee, 50 pesos per webinar per attendee through GCash and our Google Forms attendance. Also, please ensure that the Google form is complete and accurately filled up with the following important information such as your full name for the e-certificate, your email address, and your reference number and proof of payment. Please do note that the links are available through our comment section of Facebook Live and Zoom chat box. Payment will be accepted until Wednesday next week, and we are not accepting e-certificate requests via email or messenger for auditing purposes. Now, why do we have to pay again for the 50 pesos, the minimal fee of 50 pesos? This is to sustain our expenses for our monthly subscription for the Zoom postpaid account used to provide free HR e-knowledge webinars every week. Yan, paki-screenshot na lamang po ang ating GCash number for the payment. Yan. And syempre, ang ating mahiwagang picture taking every seminar. So let's please all turn our cameras on para makapag-picture tayo. Ayan, napakagaganda oh. Okay, let's start. O sa first slide, smile. 1, 2, 3. Second slide, dami natin ah. 1, 2, 3. And sa third, okay, and then sa last. 1, 2, 3. Ayan, okay. Okay na. Muli ulit, maraming salamat, Ma'am Janet. Do you have any other, ito pala, certificate of appreciation pala. Okay, before we end, we would like to award the Certificate of Appreciation to Ma'am Janet Memoracion for sharing her invaluable knowledge and expertise as a resource speaker for the 56th HRE Knowledge entitled as HR 360, a full cycle of the HR profession via Zoom and Facebook Live at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. given this 25th day of June 2022, signed by the co-founder, Jorina Caparal, and the founder, Miss Nedy Estrella, CHRE. Ayan, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Janet. Do you have any other message para sa ating audience?
Okay, thank you for having me once again po. Thank you for those who share their inputs. Maraming salamat. And should you need anything po, we are Bricks Power. We do HR and IT consulting. For HR consulting po, we provide an end-to-end services, the full spectrum of HR. I also offer, as part of my pro bono services to everyone po, I also offer free consulting for those who may want to ask for some templates, forms, or advices. I am available via LinkedIn, and you can also catch me via my SMS number 0917-772-9884. Please do feel free to contact us or to reach us for anything that you need for HR, admin, and IT. For IT, we have an in-house HRIS system, payroll, and accounting software. So do let us know if there's anything else that we could help you with. Contact Bricks Power Incorporated. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Janet. Thank you so much, Ma'am Jorina. Thank you so much sa ating 89 participant this afternoon na bumaba na po, biglang naging 75. Thank you so much. This will help ang ating beneficiary this afternoon na talagang ano ba? Ang alam ko po kasi ay end of July ang schedule of the surgery. Let's do also pray for her. At syempre, ipag-pray pa rin po natin ang ating kasamahan sa HR Calabarzon na si Ma'am Rose. Muli, mga kasama kong ka-HR dyan sa Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon, from NCR, North Luzon and South Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao, maraming salamat po sa hapon na ito na sinamahan nyo na naman kami matuto mula sa ating speaker this afternoon na syempre HR 360, a full cycle of HR profession na talaga namang nagbigay ng dagdag kaalaman sa atin bawat HR, especially sa ating mga HR enthusiasts. Magkita-kita po tayo sa susunod na linggo susunod na Saturday, July 9 para sa ating HR Business Partner Learning Series with Ma'am Vivian. Sa lahat po ng interesado, umattend ng naturang HR Business Partner course. Pang ilan na nga ba tayo, Ma'am Zurina?
Pang-anim? Tama ba?
Pang-6 HR Business Partner Learning E-Series with Ma'am Vivian. Please do contact Ma'am Zurina or yours truly at sasagutin po namin ang inyong mga katanungan. July 9 po yan. At take note, this first Friday of July, that is July 1, magiging co-partner po tayo ni Attorney Paul Sanggalang para sa itanong nyo kay Attorney Paul. Lahat po ng tungkol sa labor law, masasagot po yan. Naka-live po yan sa ating Facebook Live via HR Calabarzon. Muli mga ka-HR, maraming salamat. Magandang hapon. Kita-kits po. Bye! Bye, Ma'am Turina.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Please do
See you sa susunod.
scan the QR code para po sa ating attendance and feedback form.
Pakiscan na lamang para makuha ka agad.